I see that all the presenters are on the call, so we can start today's MSI weekly demo meeting. And today we have pretty tough agenda. We will start currently we are in a grooming process, and we making the preparation of all the stories which are gonna be taken in the scope of the Milestone 3 backlog. And during this week, we already had the first MSI grooming meeting where we were discussing distance-based algorithm implemented by Ricardo, and we were considering what actually changes could be introduced there, how this functionality could be improved from the product perspective, and how exactly we see the incorporation of the Google API into Magento business logic. And you can see the recording of this meeting in the MSI Slack channel. To continue discussion of all the possible goodness which could be brought to the MSI, today I ask a manager from our partner, and one of the biggest contributing partner, probably going to be the biggest in 2018. I'm talking about Atvix, and today I ask Alex Lunkov from Atvix company to join us, and he will tell us a little bit more about his insight, and he's about to publish the article about the MSI project, the inventory in general, and what the feature set Alex personally and the Atvix agency consider to be useful for MSI. So Alex, feel free to share your screen or just take your time and make a presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Igor. First of all, I want to say thank you for such an opportunity. Really a pleasure to be here with you. And yeah, definitely, I will share my screen a little bit later, but first I want to tell you a little bit about the context of this small presentation. So as Igor already mentioned, Atvix developers have greatly contributed to the MSI. But now, as the MSI is available as a core bundle extension for 2.3, and we, as an SI, starting discovering opportunities for our clients to integrate with MSI. I thought that would be great to prepare like a short overview of the already available features that merchants can leverage in the MSI plus 2.3, and at the same time we can like try to predict what could be useful for our clients to have in future releases of the MSI. So that's kind of the main idea behind this article. And I will share my screen and show you the draft. As Igor said, the article will be published on Atvix blog probably early, but I would say by the end of the next week. And we'll probably share this article with every merchant that we start working on. So by exploring these information, merchants will be able to decide whether or not MSI is a good fit for them. So I start with a short overview of what is actually the MSI, because not everybody is familiar with that. But so here we say that this is the new inventory management in 2.3. And then we talk about main features and also the domain model that MSI incorporates. Then we kind of prepared a short overview of why Magento needed MSI That's not only, and I'm sure you guys know, but that's important to let the merchant know that MSI is not only a set of features, but also a new architectural approach to the Magento. And the main benefit of the MSI, as we conclude the article, the main benefit of the MSI is that despite that great features that MSI has out of the box, it is much easier for us as an SI work with it and develop it together with some particular merchant to fulfill their needs. And talking about features that we think will be most useful for merchants in the months to come, we think that store pickup will definitely be huge, and we already have few requests from different merchants that they would really love to have a store pickup option on their stores, and that's definitely a great opportunity to use MSI for that, because I mean, for us as an SI, it's always better to have as native integration as possible. So we better prefer using MSI plus some customizations than installing like third-party modules that we then need to manage. So that's huge. And also for B2B merchants, having different options of sales channels. Like as you know, currently the only sales channel that is available out of the box is the website. And I think in future for merchants and SIs, it would be really great to see more sales channels available out of the box. But also, I think that's a great opportunity for extension developers to provide their modules to extend the default MSI functionality. So yeah, just summing up here, I think in-store pickup is definitely one of the most popular requests currently on the market. And for B2B merchants, the variety of sales channels that they can incorporate out of the box is also very important. So yeah, that's my take on that. And should you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I will be happy to discuss them. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei. We hope to see your blog post as soon as possible, and this will be really great to see your opinion. And thank you very much for Atvix. You did a great job on MSI and made the ball rolling. And the next one today gonna be our guest from WebCool agency, who will tell us a little bit more about how they already utilize MSI and how they use it for the point of sales application. And so let me introduce Ratnesh Kumar. Ratnesh, so feel free to share your screen and make a presentation.
Hi. Am I audible? Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. So here's my demo. where I have implemented the MSI feature in our point of sale application. Uh, Let me show you the demo. Previously, when there was no MSI, what issue we are getting is at the time, because there is only single inventory for both website and POS. So what exactly issue we are getting is uh, we have to divide and make some logic to divide the inventory for POS application and website, because there is only one single inventory of each product. So in case of offline mode, when the inventory that we divided already through POS application, there is a case if in offline mode, uh, if the inventory of the product has been sold out from the website, and the same inventory if sold from the POS application, when it gets to online, there will be a problem that the product has already been sold, and there is a problem that vendor cannot ship the product. So currently, for the point of sale application, we have created an outlet. For each outlet, we have an option to add a source that we already created from the source part of the MSI. As you can see, I have created two sources. The one is Delhi and one is Noida. And in the outlet, I have attached Delhi source to the outlet. So let's see the demo. Here's, I can see there's a product, Joe's duffel bag. It has inventory 47 in Noida and 35 in Delhi. Let's make it check out. Now, when I refresh the product list, as I can see, the inventory has been directed from Delhi source, because uh, the outlet is already attached with Delhi source. So the inventory is distributed, and and we have to make this feature like when some source is attached to some outlet, then that source will not be attached to any website outlet. That's all we have implemented till now. Thank you. If anyone have any doubt, please ask.
Thank you, Ratners. That look very, very interesting. Maybe Mark Brinton, who is our product owner, maybe you have some question. From my
yeah, so just follow, thanks, Igor. So following the demo, it looks like you decide in advance for each of those locations which sources will be used to fulfill them, so that you make that decision up front.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have already decided, assigned one outlet to one source, so that when the checkout has been done, then we already know from where we have to reduce the inventory, from which source.
I'm
Right. And you
Uh,
mentioned that the point of sale system has an offline mode. So
Yes, exactly.
how does that interact with MSI? Is it just whenever synchronization happens, it will make the inventory reservations? Okay.
Actually, if this is the case of offline mode, then all the inventory of a particular product has already synced to the offline data of the browser. That means if let's say Joe's Doffel has 33 inventory, then that 33 inventory is uh, for only POS. And if in offline mode we create orders with all the 33 inventory, then there no issue, because no website is going to utilize that 33 inventory from this source, because
Okay.
we will make it exclusive for the outlet.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I'm just thinking that this is very similar implementation to what we were considering how the store pickup gonna be implemented. Because in store pickup, so the store pickup functionality could be implemented pretty easily based on the existing MSI architecture, but the stock resolving mechanism supposed to be implemented manually. So currently MSI has own logic to resolve the stock based on the sales channel, but in a case if we will implement the store pickup gonna be provided like a drop down or something, and actually customer will choose the appropriate stock. So in this point of sale terminal, this is actually pretty similar, because currently you choose you choose a particular location, and to this particular location the source is assigned to. So this is actually exactly how we see the store pickup functionality to be implemented, at least from technical side. So this is very interesting. Ratnesh, you mentioned that there are other extension also which you implemented and which somehow interact with MSI logic, like drop shipping. Maybe something.
Yes, we have implemented one of my team member have implemented this in the dropship module. Actually, I have that module have the almost the same kind of flow that I have followed in the POS application, and she's not available here, so I cannot actually let you know the exact implementation, but you can have an idea with this blog that she already wrote.
Cool. I will definitely will. Thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you very much.
So thank you. It was really great presentation. It was really interesting to see how the MSI beyond utilized by the third-party extension, and to see how it's going to be used by different kinds of businesses, and especially the post terminals. So let's proceed further according to our agenda. And next going to be Ricardo Tempesta, who will make a demonstration of this site they launched yesterday. So first of all, congratulations and cheers for Mage Specialist and Ricardo, who made that happen.
Thank you.
And the stage is yours. Feel free to share your screen and make a presentation.
Well, actually, I have no presentation. I'm sorry, because it happened quite fast. So we released yesterday evening. So I'm sorry, I had no time for any kind of presentation. Maybe I can give you what is the website URL. What I can do actually is to tell you what happened while working with MSI on this new project, because actually this project started with Magento 2.2. So actually there was no MSI, as you probably know. And at the very beginning, MSI was not a requirement for this project. And if I explain you what kind of project is this, you will probably say from the very beginning, why are you using MSI in this project as well? Because we don't have any multiple source, so we just have one single source. So using MSI at the very beginning can be something strange for people that doesn't know exactly how MSI works. But we understood that we're needing MSI when this customer asked us to export. It was one of the first requirements to export all the quantity that basically the people were asking, so the quantity ordered that were not shipped. This was one of the first requests, and then they asked us, we need to update our stock depending on the quantity we actually have in our stock, and not depending on the quantity minus the quantity ordered. So if you know how the reservation system works, basically this was a requirement for this project. So at the end, we decided to add MSI. They are not using, of course, all the MSI features as far as now. So the main key point was the reservation mechanism. And without it, honestly, I had no idea how to implement without messing all the transaction and so on. And yeah, but tomorrow they know they have MSI, and they're starting asking to handle multiple sources for tomorrow, because this customer basically is a video game distributor. And I'm so happy to work with this kind of customer, actually, because I'm very geek from this perspective. And they have shops all around the Italian country. So they will probably add some kind of support to even see how many products they have in different shops, and maybe build something more powerful than now. And that's it. And honestly, was easier than expected, to be honest, because at the very beginning, upgrading from a 2.2 project to a 2.3 project with a new module like MSI was something unknown for us, but at the end was, I have to say, quite easy. Of course, easy, always. And that's it. I'm sorry because I have no presentation, but yeah, I'm sorry, I had no time. We ended yesterday night, so I had a few hours to sleep and no time for a presentation.
It's okay, Ricardo, no pressure at all. Just it was really interesting to hear your business motivation, what made you switch to Magento 2.3 plus MSI, and what made you choose the MSI as a way to go. Maybe Mark, you have some question to Ricardo, and
no, it's just good to hear that you know the upgrader going from a previous version to MSI is not so bad. I'm sure we'd like to see more in the future when you have some more time to rest and prepare a real demo.
Yeah, sure.
okay. So let's proceed further, and the next one gonna be Slava. So we'll show you. So on a previous demo, Ricardo. So Ricardo actually is really has a really high velocity, because along with making Magento 2.3 releases, he also has the time to make the contribution. And a week ago, he made the he made a delivery of the first and one of the biggest feature of Milestone 3. And he demonstrated the distance-based algorithm, the working prototype. Actually, it's even more than just a working prototype. So this is almost done. And during this week, we were playing around and testing, especially integration via Google API. Whether we have the accurate enough prediction and the suggestion by this algorithm. So Slava will demonstrate pretty interesting issues we found. So Slava, feel free to share your screen and tell us more about the Google API and the distance-based algorithm.
Hi everyone, let me share my screen. So during our test of PR with the distance source selection algorithm, we face one issue, like several issues, but one issue is described in the tickets here on GitHub, that when we're creating a new source and put postcode, it was postcode of Uzhgorod, what is city nearby to us. Unfortunately, we don't know why, but system Google send us to, as you may see, with postcode of Uzhgorod, send us to wrong place. It's somewhere in central Ukraine, even if Uzhgorod on very west of Ukraine. So let me show you a fix to this problem, what was provided by Ivan Plitnev. I will create new source. And I set in address tab that it's in Ukraine with zip code 8830. After saving this source, Google Map geolocation actually it's automatically set latitude and longitude. And if we use them to test it, I will go to Google Map and I will set this longitude and latitude into the service. Here you see that now it's the longitude and the latitude are correct, and we directed to Uzhgorod. Another issue was that there are zip codes what is similar. It's actually the same for different countries, and we will face such a problem that zip code of Milano in Italy, it's the same like zip code somewhere in United States. I don't remember quite well, but this fix provided it's start to better applying this country field, and if I remember right, it's 2140. This zip code which is similar. Let me save our new source. And let us check what direction we will be shown by Google Map. Here we are. We got to Milano, not to United States, somewhere connected to somewhere else. I think that's all about this fix. And another issue what we faced, I created a ticket about it. It's that I have problem, and when I set one source in United States and another source in Ukraine, for example, and after I place the order with Ukrainian address, source selection algorithm had a problem to count distance because it's using routes like driving or walking or bicycle, but it could not count the distance from United States to Ukraine, not any of these ways, and it's thrown exception error. So yeah, today even I'm not able to show it, but today he was working to fix this problem, and if the continent not available to get distance, it will be not counted. Such source will not be counted. Yeah, and I think that's all from me for today. Thank you.
So probably here we still probably here we need to get a approval from Mark's side, because actually the problem would be to any destination which would be cross continent, like from Europe to the United States, because all these computation modes which are currently supported, like driving, walking, bicycling, don't provide the possibility to make a shipment from Europe to the United States and vice versa. That's why currently making the, like here, for example, you see that I have a stock and there are several sources in Europe and one in the United States. And currently, if we have actually the shipping address, whether in Europe or in the United States, the Google will give us an error, because he can just compute the distance between Europe and the United States using the driving, bicycling, or walking computation mode. That's why. So currently we don't have the precise answer what to do with this source. Probably we should not show this error message, but should we just show this particular source, like in this case Austin? Should we just show it in the very bottom of all the sources sorted out by the distance, or we just need somehow to like, I don't know, highlight it or whatever?
Can I add something, Igor, before?
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw in the Google answer, we have the geolocation for both the source and the destination. If the problem is restricted only to overseas travels, we may just compute the straight line distance as fallback.
But for example, maybe
an island even. Yeah.
I mean that it could be crucial for some particular business. For example, if we have the pizza delivery, and we just provide an ability to deliver on a bicycle. So all our guys who are involved in the delivery, you use bicycle to deliver pizza, and and Google and we choose, like the business choose this calculation type, like bicycling, and Google just returns that it's not possible to reach some particular address by bicycle because it is on the island, or I don't know what the reason. So, there is still a possibility to get this error, and maybe we no need to make a fallback, because Using the fallback, we can calculate the distance, but from our delivery perspective, it still would be unreachable by for our delivery service. So maybe it makes sense to highlight that it's not possible to reach from this particular source to the delivery address, or
Makes sense.
what's your opinion, Mark, on this issue?
And this is the case where they've selected I guess I don't remember the term, the means of routing. Like if they select bicycle, the computation mode, that's not able to return a result, it will throw an error or at least informational message.
This looks like where it was. So they return like a 0 result.
Yeah, I think we have to trying to think what we would do. It's almost a fallback scenario where we have no information. There's a variety of reasons it could happen, but maybe then we just fall back to the source priority order.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we have for sure. We just fall back to that and put in an error that we didn't get the correct source location.
But is this error message should be shown like here, or it should be shown on the level of source, just like maybe some tooltip saying that this source can be used to fulfill the order, or I don't know, like whether
it should be shown there at the top. Mm-hmm. Because we have to make an assumption that that they've configured the sources correctly and we're able to resolve the location of the sources at the time they set up the sources. So if you go to source configuration and I edit the details of a source there, I would expect to get an error on that screen if I can't resolve a source. On this screen that you're currently showing now, I'll get an error if the shipping address, the destination, has a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yes, makes sense. Makes sense.
So if we have a problem with the address of one of the sources, we shouldn't highlight them somehow? If there is an issue with Austin here on the screen.
I just think it adds a lot to the UX, because assuming Austin gets set up correctly, it will work for every shipment. So the time and place to correctly set up Austin is when the source is being configured, and we should validate it when we create a source or make changes to the source.
I think also an important point is that the Google API is strictly maps, and it's location to location. Can you get there by walking, driving, or bicycle? But it's not if it's shippable. So Austin is shippable, but Google isn't set up that way to determine if it's shippable. So it's not really an error of, it can't detect the distance, but it is still shippable. So it would still be good to have there, I think.
I mean, the other alternative is we can just, like Ricardo, we can calculate the distance. We would essentially just geocode the addresses to coordinates and then use the mathematical calculation to do the distance instead of using Google's return distance for driving, walking, or biking.
As a fallback?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That could work as a...
Because assuming we can get a latitude, longitude for both, then we always are able to calculate a distance.
So in this case, if you will apply the fallback, the message shouldn't be an error, but a notification instead. So the yellow one, but not red one. Okay. So looks like we have a decision here regarding this issue, and we can proceed fixing. And I believe we can demonstrate it during the next demo meeting. So looks like that was the last issue we had with the Google API, and also as we yesterday agreed on the grooming meeting, we decided to switch to Google Address components to refine the query. So now we provide the as a dedicated component zip code and country code. And actually that was demonstrated by Slava. And this is all regarding Google API specific fixes. And now following the agenda, we are switching to Tom, and Tom will present the update regarding the automated test coverage and the MFTF.
Great, thanks Igor. Pull this up here, let me share my screen. Hopefully you're getting that now. Okay, so this is just our weekly update on quality and testing. So we'll begin with our manual testing. We have our current test coverage, 505 tests. 142 of those are automated. 363 of those are manual only at this point. However, all 505 are run manually. So that total figure is how many run fully for manual or defined fully manually. We have this component breakdown. So as you'll see, majority is within sales and catalog. There's been a couple of test additions since last week. There's been a couple more added and will be over the next week. So we should see this number creeping up. The last full manual test run, big thanks to Slav and his team for getting that finished out. That was finished out on the 5th, and we were left with these results. So great majority of passes. Some issues with fields, skips, and blocks. Those are being resolved, but altogether that was a regression run for us. Now moving into automation then. So automated testing currently, as we know, it's done in MFTF. We have this breakdown of coverage as you've seen from the previous slide. So of those 505 scenarios that we defined, 142 of those are currently automated. That is 28% of the total. We're obviously looking to increase that. We are not prioritizing a drive towards the full 505. The automated running goal is to automate the S0 and S1 scenarios. As you can see here, current coverage of those S0 and S1 scenarios, we have covered 57% of the S0 scenarios by automation, 36% of the S1s, and we have a few tests of the S2 variety that were covered simply because they shared very, very similar automation, so they were almost freebies that we got in. We haven't covered any S3s or S4s by automation, as you hopefully would expect. In terms of our component coverage then, so we are following roughly the same component coverage as the full test and manual regression suites are. So that's a majority within catalog and sales. We do also have a good amount in configuration as well, which we find useful to automate. That's our current coverage there. And finally, there will be a component level breakdown of this for next report, but currently, just to show you the latest run of those MFTF tests, no failures, we're all happy to see. We have 18 skipped MFTF tests currently due to various issues. However, I can announce that 8 of those will be unskipped in a PR that is in processing at the moment. So we're looking at that number to come down, and then we'll clear the rest of the skip tests as well. So that's how we're looking for testing right now. I'll stop sharing. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer. Otherwise, we'll have more for you next week.
Cool, thanks. One thing to add is that there will be a component breakdown for automation. We are currently working with Tom on figuring out how to do that exactly, considering the smorgasbord of systems that we're using internally and externally. But we are going to get there, and you're going to start seeing where we are having most failures and least failures, and what the breakdown of our automated test runs per component is analogous to how we're doing it with the manual testing right now. So that's all incoming, as Tom said.
Correct.
I guess that's it.
Yep. So looks like that's all for today. Thank you guys for your time, and the more to come next week. Of course, join our grooming session, and the nearest grooming session is scheduled on Wednesday. I will share the invitation link in the MSI Slack channel soon. And thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, you all.